Hey again, it's Daniel, founder of LunaSage. Today's demo, we're gonna dive into technically this is a for-profit or a non-profit use case, but we're gonna use my for-profit test company. We've got some similar user info, right? We've got our medium tech level, and I try not to write custom code if I don't have to. On the system side, this example company is using Salesforce Sales Cloud, Gainsight, what else we got? Some Stripe, little HubSpot on the marketing side, so not in the Salesforce ecosystem. FreshBooks, ADP, bloop, Asana and Jira, probably using Jira for the devs and Asana for the product team. Cool details there. Let's hop over to chat. And let's ask a question. So this is going to be a question where we're looking at a backlog, right? We're going to ask it to prioritize, ask LunaSage to prioritize and t-shirt size a backlog list that we have as a business systems team. So I'll go ahead and write that up. Please help me t-shirt size and prioritize this backlog list. I've already copied the backlog list. But you can see just some like general things, and we've got a backlog number, we've got the actual backlog item, and then what it's in regards to. So like our CRM, you'll see some stuff like integration layer. We'll just send that on its way. Cool. All right, it gives us our little feedback, and then it starts like breaking things down for us, which is awesome to know that it defines out what these priorities and these t-shirt sizes are. So we'll let this just run. Nice. It's still keeping our, it's actually updating our information, which is pretty tight. So if you look, it's labeling the systems that it thinks things should go to. We've got some implementation wave recommendations. That's pretty choice. And like always, let's go and create a project plan out of this so that we can kind of consolidate down that backlog listing. And then we'll take some of this data out and we'll just throw it over into like Google Sheets and see what it actually provided to us. So let me highlight this before we jump. Copy that data. We're still creating that project, which is fine. It can take a little time, especially if it's thinking hard, which we like it to do. While it's doing that, I'll just hop over to a new sheet. And we will dump this in here. And we can hop back and you can see we've got our business systems optimization and integration. So let's see what we're working with on this front. Oh, cool. So we've got our high level timeline. We've got our wave 1 foundations, wave 2 quick wins, process improvements and optimizations, any risk and mitigation, success metrics, and we've got our backlog implementation plan here. And it breaks it down. So we've got backlog 1, consolidate duplicate lead records, develop dedupe rules with stakeholders, create a backup of existing data, fantastic, test in a sandbox, always a plus. And then execute in production with validation. Cool. Let's jump over to our actual list and see what we're working with on this front. Boink. There we go. Okay, so we've got our consolidate dupe lead. We've got, it's a large on the t-shirt size and it's a priority 1. Oh, and the rationale. That's tight. So the data quality is foundational. Impacts reporting, accuracy, and user adoption. Requires careful planning to avoid data loss. Also, with this being lead data, I would say that this is going to impact our sales and marketing function. But this is a great start of like the rationale, right? Like this really does like pull out of my solution architect brain on this front. Okay, so we've got our P1s. It looks like it stored all the P1s at the top, which is fantastic. Implement role-based access, map and document all data flows around core systems. Cool thing about this one is we could use LunaSage to start this document, right? Around mapping and documenting all data flows. We could actually use LunaSage to help, throw in some logic when it comes to duplicate lead records and implementing that logic in our CRM. I really do like how this broke it out into like the system. So we started out with the system just saying like this is our CRM or security or our integration layer, but it starts breaking things out a little better. We've got integrate our marketing platform with our webinar tool. So it's like, hey, we're using HubSpot and we're using Zoom. These are the tools that are going to be involved on this front. Native integration exists between HubSpot and Zoom, relatively straightforward, beautiful. Let's hop back over to this and let's copy out this project plan and go to a new Google Doc and paste in from Markdown. Okay, so let's look at these waves a little more. Wave 1 foundation, those are our P1s. And then we start breaking into, I like how it also summarizes, right? High impact, quick wins. You know, those are things that like the executive level like to see, right? Where you can have some sort of name around something that everybody can like rah behind. And I generally am bad at coming up with names on the creative front. So that helps me out in terms of that front. Audit user accounts, extract user list from all systems, cross-reference with HR, deactivate dormant, and implement a regular audit process. Cool. So this is like a super high-level project document. This could be broken out even further, but once again, this is an excellent start. We could take some of this information like around this. I really like this implement regular audit process, and we can hop back over to our chat and see if it can provide. Can you provide more information and planning around this backlog item? And we'll just send that on its way. It's got details, so we can see where it's actually pulling and what kind of thought process. Cool. Okay, so this is looking at over all our systems and really evaluating that from like a high level systems perspective. Automation development. Okay, so that's if we wanted to go like the full automation route. Generally, I would hold off. Like this is just like good best practice. You hold off on automating until you have walked through it manually a couple of times. When you walk through it manually, you see any of the hiccups and you can kind of adjust that automation plan. But this did fairly well, right? So like on the systems perspective, Sales Cloud, API or data export, perfect. We're going to want the email, user ID, profile, and last login. We can use data loader or reports for export. That's fantastic. That's exactly what I would recommend on the Salesforce front. Same thing on the HubSpot side. I mean, this really does a great job of breaking this down. So now that we have this document, right, we could do the same thing about like, let's create another project plan. Let's let this spin up in the background. And then we would have the overall high level project plan of like total optimization, integration, backlog, scrub that we're looking for. And we would have like the more detail oriented project plan specifically for auditing our users. And here's that plan. Let's jump back over here, make a new page, and we'll do another copy from, or paste from Markdown. And I mean, this looks really solid. So why this example, right? Backlog grooming is something that business system solution architects, business systems project teams, right? The project managers, the product owners, like they all do this role. Like they all evaluate backlogs, t-shirt size things, prioritize things, reprioritize things. It takes a while, right? I've been in meetings with 6-7 people just trying to gain a consensus over the backlog. This saves time, right? Let's say that it's just a meeting of 5 people. right? Maybe you've got a product owner, you've got the solution architect, you've got an admin for each of the main systems. This is going to be a 30-minute meeting at the least. I mean, you start looking at the dollar value. This just saved a ton of time. It took no time at all to actually run through all that backlog, t-shirt sizing and prioritization, and get a first draft out. But B, like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about like the hours a human is interacting with that data. And if it's a 30-minute meeting or a 45-minute meeting or an hour-long meeting, right, for 5 people, that's a high dollar value. Whereas you can go into that 5-person meeting with this documented started, right? With this, if you hop back over to the history, with this prioritization and t-shirt sizing that's now in a spreadsheet, send this out to the team that's going to be on the call. Say, hey, can everyone review this? You know, put in your information in a new column, whether you agree or disagree, whether you agree on sizing, priority, rationale, etc., and any notes that you might be thinking about. So this skips that that high friction first step, creating the document, creating that prioritization, creating that t-shirt size. Saves money, saves time, saves user time. They don't have to think about the silly stuff, the stuff that they don't want to be thinking about. I mean, I remember being a Salesforce admin. Backlog grooming was the worst. As a solution architect, it's a little more fun because you can think about more things. You can dive in, kind of solution a little bit, but you're not solutioning deep, right? If it's backlog grooming, it is a little thought process, a little planning process. You're not going deeper into the weeds. Whereas if you have this already sized and prioritized and rationalized, you're able to come in here and like maybe provide a little more detail. Maybe start like thinking about, ooh, I wonder how we can utilize the team better to come in here and actually do these different tasks. And then going even further as like the actual project plan, you know, this starts off the project plan where you can start refining, you know, whether it's constraints, stakeholders, whatever, right? You can refine, but you have a starting point, which is, I mean, I think it's fantastic. I get excited about these things, but I also built this, and yeah, I think that's pretty rad. So that's the demo today. Backlog grooming. Everybody loves backlog grooming. Just kidding. Stay tuned for even more demos and use cases, both in the for-profit and non-profit space. Bye.